All right, thanks for joining me, Year 10. Just wanted to say thanks for doing that survey. If we have a look at the results here, we've got, let me scroll down a bit, get that in the screen. So if it's blue or green, we did okay. Yellow, red and orange didn't do too well. So yeah, we've got a bit to work on. Looking at the results of the other questions I asked, so how prepared were you for the test? On a scale of 1 to 5, the average mark was 2.5. Okay, so that's telling me we need to work on our preparation skills. So once you get those task notifications 2 weeks before, that's when we need to really start doing some revision each day. Okay, just a little bit each day is going to help you immensely. And then how happy were you with your mark? Average was 2 out of 5. So that's good as well. That's telling me a lot of you weren't happy, which is, if you ask me, correct. I think we could have done better. Okay, so let's talk about how we could do that. Starting with question 8. So 52% was the average mark for this question. Okay, so I've got a solution here. Writing it out, we can see straight away that the m's can cancel. Okay, and the reason they can cancel across there is if we actually do this, we get, let's do the top. So we'll do 2 times 2m, we get 4m. And m times 9, we get 9m. Okay, so then we can cancel out and we're left with 4 on 9, option D. Okay, looking at 2A, B, C, D, going back to the results, average mark out of the 4 was 1.5. Okay, so again, not doing super well on this one. Let's look at how we can do better. So 2A is a difference of 2 squares. X minus 3, x plus 3. So hopefully you picked that one up. Okay, 9 is 3 squared. And we've got a difference. We've got 2 squares. Okay, so that's the hint. Looking at B, a little bit more complicated. We needed to remember our surds. So if I was going to write this, this would be, I would rewrite 7 as the square root of 7, because when I square that, I still get 7. So we do the first term minus the last term, first plus the last. Okay, so that's my solution for that one. C, 2C, we've got a square here. We don't have a square here, so let's rewrite it with a square. And I'm going to write that as 8 squared. And now again, we've got 1 square, a difference, and another square. So we've got a difference of 2 squares. So first one minus the last one. First one plus the last one. Whoops, plus 8. Okay, some people left it there. We can go a little bit further and simplify what's in those brackets. So 1 minus 8 is minus 7. 1 plus 8 is 9. Okay, so just to sort of recap, we've got the first, actually I'll get a different color there, undo that. So the first term and the second term. So first term minus second term, first term plus second term. Okay, looking at this next one, there's a bit more work to do here. I might get some more space. X squared minus y squared, that's a difference of 2 squares. So we've got x minus y, x plus y. Okay, and if we look at this second part, we can factorize that as 5 y plus x. Okay, so let's see what we've got. X minus y, x plus y. I'm going to rewrite that as x plus y. Okay, and now we can do what we did in question 1, which was apply grouping. So we've got a common expression. So we've got x plus y outside of x minus y plus 5. Okay, so that was 2A, B, C, D. 3, how do we go for 3? 3, average mark 52. By the way, 2D, that was the average mark there was 19.3%. So that's definitely one we all struggled on. For 3 A and B, average mark was just over 50. So let's look at that. If you recognize that we've got a perfect square here, you're on the money. So this will be x minus 3 squared. Okay, and that's because I have something in the form, in that form. This is our perfect squares. Okay, because I've got that negative, we're going to be using this one. Alright, so we're going to apply these to the second one as well. So to get this first term, if I squared 3x, I'd get that. And to get the last term, if I squared 7y, I'd get that. Okay, now that looks quite, like the way I've just sort of done it there looks quite simple. You need to check the middle term. So I need to check that this middle term is twice the product. Okay, so this middle term needs to be twice the product of the first and last one. So if we do 3x times 7y, or 2 times 3x times 7y, I get 42xy, which is my middle term. Okay, so if it was something else, it might not be a perfect square. Okay, but yeah, it was in this case. All right. Question 4. Was it 4b? Yeah, 4b. Okay. 4b average mark 39%. This is just for 10MA2. So let's have a look at 4b. Fully factorise. Oh, okay. So we did okay on 4a. For 4b, first thing we need to do was take the 10 out. So this was the mistake I was making in class a few times. So I was seeing if you paid attention there. So if we take the common factor out, that was 1 mark. Okay, and then if we factorise this quadratic, what is it going to be? Minus 11 and plus 3. Yeah, so whoop, minus 11. So this is going to be y minus 11, y plus 3. Okay, and you could have figured those factors out with PSF or the cross method. Okay, so that bringing the 10 out pulled a few people up. A lot of students did, PSF, which is great, but if we look at the product, it's minus 3,300, and the sum is minus 80, and that's going to be pretty difficult to figure out the factors. Okay, so see if you can always check if you can take the common number out first. Moving on to 4C and 4D. Average mark on 4C and 4D was pretty much the same as 4B. Okay, so let's look at how we can do this. So here we've got non-monic quadratics. Okay, and they're non-monic because the coefficient of x is not 1. So let's look at using the PSF method here. So the product of the first and last is going to be 12. Okay, I got that by 3 times 4. The sum has got to be 8. And what are the factors? Okay, so that's going to be 2 and 6. Okay, so we can rewrite this as 3x squared plus 6x plus 2x plus 4. Alright, so this is going to be one way to do it. So we'll have 3x outside of x plus 2 plus 2 outside of x plus 2. And now we've got that common group. And we're done. Alright, the other way was the identity. 3x plus 2, 3x plus 6. And remember, this is 3 times too large. And then if we look at that right fraction up the top, we can further factorize that. This is all over 3. And then we can see we do a nice little cancel. And we answer. Alrighty, moving on to D. We've got a PSF method again, okay, because it's a non-monic quad. So the product is minus 90. The sum has got to be 9. What are the factors? So that's going to be 15 and 6. It's going to be we need a plus, so it's going to be positive 15 and minus 6. Okay, so we'll try yeah, we'll just do the I like this identity. So 9x plus 15, 9x minus 6 all over 9. We'll factorize both of these. We get 3 outside of 3x plus 5 and 3 outside of 3x minus 2. And this is on 9, and if we did the 3 times the 3, we would get 9, so they are going to cancel out. Yeah, and the other way is, think of it, 9 as 3 times 3, so nice cancelling there. So we get 3x plus 5, 3x minus 2. Alright, moving on. 5a and 5b. Average mark on 5a was 5%, and on 5b was 0. No one got 5b. Okay, and that's because it was a tough question. It was the hardest question on the test. Alright, so looking at 5a, we need to complete the square. And the reason for that, and this is what I said in people's feedback, if we try the PSF method, we get a product of 2 and a sum of 6. No factors exist that multiply to give 2 and add to give 6. So that's the hint you need to move on. We need to try a different method, and it's going to be completing the square. Now for 5a, we can do this straight away because my coefficient of x squared is already 1. So I can start that straight away. That's going to be a little different in 5b. So to complete the square, I need to half this term and square it. So half of 6 is 3. If I square that, I get 9. Okay, so I'm going to do a different color here. We're adding 9. Okay, and then we had plus 2. So we've still got that plus 2. And because I've added 9, outside here I need to take away 9. Okay, so this is still the same expression. It's just that we're getting it into a form where we can factorize. So this is a perfect square. So this becomes x plus 3 squared minus 7. And then we want to apply difference of squares to this. So I'm going to rewrite that as x plus 3 squared minus 7 squared. Okay, we've covered difference of 2 squares in this video, so I'll leave you to finish that one. Okay, looking at 5b, as I mentioned at the start, we need the coefficient of x squared to be 1 if we want to complete the square. Before we do that, let's just check PSF doesn't work. So the product would be minus 10 and the sum would be 8. So factors of 10, 1 and 10, 2 and 5. None of them are going to give me 8. If I add or subtract them with any type of sign, that's not going to work. So that's the hint we need to move on. So I'm going to take 2 out. And this leaves me with x squared plus 4x minus 5 on 2. Okay. I want to use completing the square on this part. Alright, so let's do that. We're going to take, so this is still there. I'm going to take 4, half it to get 2, square it to get 4. So I've got x squared plus 4x. I'm going to add 4. Because if I half and square it, I add 4. Alright, so I'm going to put some other brackets around here. There was minus 5 on 2. Because we've added 4, we need to subtract 4. Okay, but instead of writing it as 4, it's going to save us a bit of time and write it as minus 8 on 2, which which is exactly the same number. So let's clear this up. We've head over here now. So we've got 2 outside of, this is now a perfect square, so I've got x plus 2 squared minus 13 on 2. Alright, how do we write minus 13 on 2 as a square? Well, we need to apply that same trick we did to the 7. So I'll get x plus 2 squared minus 13 on 2 squared. We now have 2 squares and a difference. So that's our hint to apply difference of 2 squares. Okay, so you can check what it ended up being in the solutions. For now, we'll keep going. Pause the video anytime, guys. That's the advantage of having a video. You can pause it and rewind it and have another look at it if you need to. So looking at question 6, I can factorize that top part with 5 outside of 2x plus 3 on 5, and our 5s are going to cancel, and that's going to leave me with 2x plus 3. Okay, for b, we needed to apply a difference of 2 squares up the top, so a minus b, a plus b, and the bottom, x minus y, x plus y, times. This is already nicely factorized, so we're going to leave that alone, same as this one. Now, if you remember back to question 8, we can cancel across. So we can cancel across here. We didn't have to do that next step to start cancelling. Okay, we can do the same here. All right, so x minus y is going to cancel with one of those x minus y's, and a plus b is going to cancel with one of these a plus b's, and that's it. So we're just going to simplify it to finish. So what are we left with? And we're done. Okay. Moving on to this one, we needed common denominators if we're going to add 2 fractions. Okay, so I need to make this one a 10. Alright, so to do that, I'm going to times by 2. I have to do that to the top as well. Okay, so I get 2 outside of 2h minus 3 on 10 plus 3h plus 7 on 10. My denominators are the same, so I can just add the numerators. So I'm going to, before I do that, we'll just quickly expand that. So we get 4h minus 6, so I've got 4h minus 6 plus 3h plus 7 all on 10. Clean things up on the top. 4h plus, that's all. Let's do our like terms. So 4h, 3h, and then we've got some numbers as well. Alright, so let's clean things up at the top. 4h plus 3h gives me 7h. Minus 6 plus 7 gives me 1 on 10. And that's as far as we can go. Okay, I might get some more space for this one. Alright, this one, looking at it, you can see we've got a couple of quadratics there. So first thing that pops into your head should be, hey, maybe I can factorize those. Okay, we're doing an algebraic techniques test where we've factorized lots of quadratics, so that's hopefully what you're thinking. So we've got 3 on, I'm just going to quickly try and do this. So that's going to be minus 2, minus 5. Okay, you can check that if you like. 2 on, this is going to be x. What is this one? X. Oh, right, so x minus 3, x plus 5. Minus 5, sorry. Okay, so looking at these two fractions now, we can see that we've got some common parts. This is in both. And some uncommon parts. So we need to add. So up here we times by 2. Okay, here we're going to have to times by x minus 3. And over here we're going to have to times by x minus 2. Now, same as before, what we do to the top, we do to the bottom. Alright, so we've got x minus 3 up here. Now I have common denominators, and I can just subtract the numerators. So let's expand this while we go. So we've got 3x minus 9. So I did 3 times x, 3 times minus 3. Okay, minus, so the minus comes along, 2 times x, which is 2x. 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. Now if I minus 4, I end up with plus 4. Okay, so don't forget your addition and subtraction of positive or negative integers. Okay, so this is all over x minus 3, x minus 2, x minus 5. Let's tidy up the top, and we're nearly done. So we've got, these are our like terms, minus 9 and plus 4. Alright, so 3x minus 2x gives me x, minus 9 plus 4 gives me minus 5. Actually, you know what, I should write this underneath, get in trouble for writing it beside it. So we've got x minus 5 on the top. So my next line is, and we've got x minus 3, x minus 2, x minus 5. Hey, we've got another cancellation happening, and I will write it beside it this time, stuff it. So we're left with 1 on the top, x minus 2, x minus 5. Okay, so that's my final answer for 3 marks. Alright, so they were the top, or the 10 questions we had the most trouble with. Thank you to those people that did the survey. If you still haven't got around to doing that, that's fine. You can do it using this link. We can go bit.ly, because I know we had a few away. 10_T1 for task 1 survey. Alright, so follow that link, and that'll get you to a quick survey where you can enter your marks. And for that, you'll need the slip you get when I hand your paper back. Okay, so if you've got that, you can do that survey. Any questions about this, come and see me and we can sort it out. Make sure you do your homework, okay, which is to get your task mark up to 80%. Just do it as an open book test. Make sure you can get to that 80% mark, because that's telling us both you've understood most of the content. All right, thanks, you 10. Have a good one.